Hi, thanks for hanging out. In this video I'll show you my new to me Kubota U15-3 Mini Excavator. We'll give it a service and get it ready for action. Let's get after it. A little bit about the excavator before we jump into the service. It's a Kubota U15-3. It's got a working weight of around about 1650 kilos or around about 32 to 3300 pounds. It is the precursor, from as far as I can tell, to the ever popular U17 series of Kubota Mini Excavator as well. The engine, and from what I can tell, a lot of the running gear that is in this was used in the first U17 model, and they've upgraded that since to make that a really popular model. This excavator was appealing to me, one, because it was available, and two, because it was around about close to half the cost of a U17 model and very, very close to the same working specifications as a U17 model. It's 2001, it's done around about 2100 hours, 2150 hours to be exact, which is just over 100 hours a year. So it's had quite limited use over its lifespan. The overall condition for its age is excellent. There's no damage to any of the chrome, no leaks from any of the seals on any of the cylinders or from where any of the hoses connect at all. There's been no leaks of any fluid on the floor since I've had it parked for a week, which I'm really happy about. Other than giving it a good service and a little bit of touch up here and there, this excavator is running well and should be good to go. The rollover canopy I took off to be able to get it inside the shop. It's going to go straight back on as soon as I get it outside again and before I start any work. On top of the general condition of it being in really good shape, all of the electronics and actuators and levers work. The service I'm going to do today will be reasonably thorough. I want to change all of the filters, have a look at the hydraulic oil and see if that's worth changing. The engine oil will get changed, top up the water reservoir, have a look at the fuel water separator, check the gear oil, check the track tension and grease all of the components on the boom. Alright, first job is to change the engine oil. I'm using Kubota genuine parts where I can. They were virtually the same price as getting them online and I could pick them up straight away. This takes 3.7 litres of oil, including the change for the filter. The oil that came out of it really was quite good, just black from not being changed in quite a while. There was no signs of metallic fragments or anything on the drain plug or in the oil after it came out. I'm sure the engine will enjoy a fresh bath. For the fuel system, we've got the water separator and the fuel filter. I've got the fuel turned off. Let's take the water separator off and see whether there's much muck in the bottom of that. Definitely a little bit of muck in there, and what looks like could be some old paint from something. We'll get this cleaned up and then get it put back on. Beautiful. Not too bad. There are a few little floaties in the bottom of the filter. I'm glad I'm changing it. That'll be good to get a fresh one on there. Alright, let's have a look at this air cleaner. That's pretty dusty. Don't think that's been changed for a little while. We'll get a fresh one in there. The inner filter doesn't look too bad. Compare that to the old one, looks exactly the same. We're good to go. Okay, we're going to check and change the main drive oil. As I said, overall this machine really doesn't look like it needs much maintenance at all. In fact, that oil is so clean and it's so close to the top that I'm not going to bother changing it at the moment. I've got that round the wrong way. That's the level which should be up a little bit higher, I think. Probably a touch higher than the drain hole. Let me get the track turned around and get that in the proper position and we'll have another look at it. Might top it up. Alright, let's have a look at that now. Check the other side. The other side was full. That side does look down just a touch. We'll put a little bit of oil in there. I've had the engine running for about 5 or 10 minutes to circulate the oil. It's sat for a little while now. Let's check the dipstick and see what the oil level's like. And it's right to the full mark and looks nice and clean, which is expected, and that's excellent. We'll keep an eye on that and just see if that changes level over use. The engine oil was definitely past its best, yet the gear oil in the main drives was really clean. Really happy with that. I was intending on changing the hydraulic fluid and changing the filter in the hydraulic fluid. Given the condition of the drive oil, I will have a look first and see if there's many contaminants in the bottom of it and just how it looks and whether it looks dirty or not, and we'll decide from there what we do. That does look a little bit dirty, so we'll drain that and change it and the filter while we're at it. To get to the cover for the hydraulic oil return filter, we need to take this cover off. There's 3 bolts here and 1 in the back, and that should come straight off. Those threads don't look fantastic. I'll see if I can clean those up before I put them back in. That was on there. The O-ring looks okay. It may have been some pressure as well from starting to drain the fluid out. I could hear a little bit of pressure come out as well, so that might have been a bit of pressure on the tank. Excellent. Okay, we've got the filter cap off. Let's take that filter off and have a look at it, see if there's much dirt and debris in there. I can see little spots all over it. So there definitely was a little bit of muck in there. I'm not sure whether it has ever been changed in the past. Let's take it off and have a look. If we have a look at the condition of them, quite obviously the new one is much cleaner. I'll be happier knowing that that's gone in there. The oil pickup filter looks a little bit dirty too. I don't have one of those to replace it though. I'll leave that one and just change the oil return filter. The engine running with side glass is emptied. We'll definitely add some more fluid to that. Let's top it off. Got the machine turned around now. All the other servicing has been going well and is done. The last two things I need to do is grease all the grease points and check the track tension. First, I'll check that all of the grease points are tight. I've found a couple that are loose. I'll go around and check those first and then clean them up and get ready for greasing. This was one of the grease nipples that I found was loose. It was pointing in an odd direction and I was hopeful that it wasn't fixed in that position. I tried to turn it with my hand and found out that it wasn't even finger tight. Let's tighten that up and check all the others. That wraps up greasing all the nipples. I'm glad I tightened up those few loose ones. I've also greased all the nipples on the dozer blade as well. Let's move on to tightening the tracks. The track tension for these needs to be about 25 to 30 millimeters, around about an inch to an inch and a quarter. At the moment these are 55 millimeters, which is over 2 inches. Let's add some grease and see how they tension up. The last thing I'll do while I've got the excavator up in the air, or the tracks up in the air, is I'll grease these box frames that the tracks move in and out with. They're fairly clean already. I won't bother spending too much time cleaning them up. We'll get some grease around those, cycle them a few times, and that job should be done. That's it for the service on the Kubota excavator. Everything went as well as I expected it to. The only mishap was filling the engine oil. The fill tube is a little bit smaller than the jug I had, and I spilled a little bit on the engine. I've soaked up as much as I can. Everything else went to plan. We changed the engine oil and the oil filter, the fuel filter, cleaned out the water separator, added a little bit of water, changed the air filter. We changed the hydraulic oil return filter and changed the hydraulic oil, greased everything, tensioned the rubber tracks, as well as checked the gear oil in the final drives, which looked really good. Overall, everything is now all ready to go. This is ready to go straight into service and start to move some dirt. That's it for this video. I'm really excited to get to use this and get some experience on an excavator, particularly now it's had a full service and it's all good to go. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks so much for watching. Any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those below. And remember, until next time, life's short, so get after it.